Hey guys, what does a girl, oil, and becoming one of America's youngest millionaires have to do with each other? Watch a review and stay for our recommendation.
Hey guys, today we saw Sarah's Oil. It was a sneak peek opportunity through Regal that we were able to see it. It's a true story of Sarah Rector. She's an African American girl in the early 1900s who became one of America's youngest millionaires after oil was discovered on her worthless Oklahoma land allotment. It releases November 7th, 2025 in theaters. It will be out on Amazon Prime early 2026. It was written, directed, and produced by Cyrus No Rasta. The main cast is Zachary Levi from Shazam, Nia Desir Johnson. She's a new actress.
Very good actress, too.
Very good. Saniqua Martin Green. She's from The Walking Dead. She played Sasha. And Garrett Dillahunt, you might know him from Raising Hope, but he's in a lot of things. The genre was biographical drama. We watched it in theaters, of course. And the runtime was an hour and 44 minutes. What drew us to this movie was the fact that it was filmed in Oklahoma. And we like Zachary Levi. Really like him as a person as well. We were pretty much expecting the exact story that happened, even though we knew nothing about it. And but with more conflict.
Yeah, there's a lot more than I expected.
It's inspired by the true story of 11-year-old Sarah Rector in 1913. She's a Creek freedman, which is a descendant of an African-American slave of the Creek Nation before 1866. They were granted full citizenship rights in the Muskogee Nation under 1866 treaty with the United States, which ended slavery. Most people didn't realize that the Native Americans also had slaves, but by being a Creek freedman, she was entitled to land. So she, the little girl, was given 160 acres in Glenpool, Oklahoma. This was filmed primarily in Okmulgee, Oklahoma. As far as story and pacing goes, the story was extremely easy to follow, kept our interest from beginning to end. No parts felt rushed or dragged on. Perfect pacing for the story. And there was nothing unnecessary in the movie. They didn't put anything in it where you're like, that was stupid, or that was unnecessary, it was inappropriate, nothing like that. It really showed how corrupt the oil business is, or at least was back then. I don't know anything about it now. They try to take advantage of her in so many different ways, but she's extremely smart. She understands the standards and the laws, and she doesn't allow them to push her around even at 11 years old. They also subtly show how terrible Jim Crow laws were back then and how dumb it is to commit crimes on native land, especially if you're not native.
She talks about, if you want to know how she is smart, she goes to school and her teacher teaches her a bunch of stuff. And she's very intellectual, very smart young lady. I was very impressed with the character, how smart she is, and the actress herself.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that this is her first lead in a movie is crazy. And if you look at her IMDb, you see that she was just in some short movies, I think, that her mom wrote and directed. And then she was in one movie recently where she just played like stepsister or stepdaughter or something. And then she's just, bam, in this. And then she's in another movie coming out where she also plays the lead. So it's crazy. The new one coming out is called Angie, and she plays Angie. The characters were believable and well developed, but of course Sarah, played by Nia, outperformed everybody.
Yes, agreed.
She was so good, her performance stood out the most. I don't know if I connected with any of the characters, but I definitely felt emotion for Sarah in a couple scenes when she was really sad or really happy. The relationship between Bert, played by Zachary Levi, and Sarah is very innocent and sweet, very protective and genuine. And the relationship between Bert and his friend Mace is said to be, in a funny way, a long-term marriage because of how they bicker between each other. And the relationship between Sarah's parents and their kids is, as you would expect, a caring, protective parents to be, and all those relationships are believable. So there's good acting involved there. Most of the film is shot outside in Glenpool, Oklahoma, so it's just dirt, but the sets, wardrobes, and cars when they're supposedly in Muskogee, it looks the time of 1913. It's really cool to see everything go way back of that time.
Even the clothing, they did really well with that clothing.
Yeah,
too.
The wardrobe is really cool to see that. As far as any standout visuals or memorable shots, I'll just say dynamite and oil.
Yes.
That's so cool. The style totally fit the tone. It was great. As far as sound and music, I'm sure it existed, but I don't remember any.
They didn't really
music.
play any music. It was more of like sounds and stuff like that. Like,
I mean, the Foley and just stuff that existed in the film, but I don't
Yeah.
remember. I'm sure music existed in the film, but I don't believe they'll be releasing a soundtrack.
no.
Themes, regardless of how small you are or your race or your gender, stick up for what's right. Do the right thing, whether everyone else is doing it or not, and it will pay off in the end. That message was pretty obvious and often throughout the film. There was times where others wanted to do the wrong thing, and she was like, no, that's not right. Don't let them do that. You need to stand up for yourself.
She was definitely a voice heard in a crowd. Like, she really stood out when it was needed.
She would be a difference maker for sure.
Oh, yes. Yeah,
She
definitely.
was.
Yeah.
As far as emotional reactions, I was hit with fear, laughter, sadness, anger, happiness, tension for sure.
I mean, you felt probably every emotion that you could possibly have in this movie.
Yeah. The way the girl and just black people in general were treated at that time really pissed me off.
Yep.
Overall, I was just irritated at in the film, the racism of just a few people, but a few white people, but how because of the few of the majority were hated because of it. I mean, there'd be situations where Bert would be around other racist white people and people would treat him poorly. There was a scene where a white guy almost said the N-word to little Sarah, and Bert quickly shut him up, and that was a pretty fun scene.
And it's sad, too, just to...
She knew what was coming.
Yeah, it's just...
She knew what he was going to say.
And it's sad for her to know that that kind of stuff existed. And, I mean, I felt that emotion for her. And
what sucks is even as that little girl, even as that actor, as Naya...
having to be around that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really sad.
The storytelling was obviously predictable because it was a true story. So it's not like, wow, it was an amazing story. It's real. It's based off a book written in 2014. I'll put that book on screen right now. There it is. It's going to cover all of us. The dialogue felt natural, even though Naya was a relatively new actor. I mean, it was just like, she's how old and she's been acting for 40 years? That's crazy. Overall impact, what really made this movie stand out is that little girl. She's incredible and is surely going places.
Yeah, 100%.
One thing this film does really well is tell the story accurately without trying to push any agenda. I mean, this is made by the Kingdom. I think it's a production company. And, of course, they're a Christian company. But, I mean, there wasn't any sort of message being pushed out here or anything. I mean...
She did at one point talk about...
She prayed.
Yeah, she talked about her church. She talked about prayer.
But it was only about being good. It wasn't like if you go to church, you're a good person.
No, not at all like that. There were parts where they did sing. Their music. They did sing a song, and she did talk about. He did ask, like, what's the point in all this, and she did mention.
I wrote that down in my notes and I didn't transfer it over about saving your soul.
Saving his soul. Which that's was like him. That's the whole turning point at one point for him, which was I didn't ruin anything at all, I promise. But for him, I think that is where like you felt like an emotional point for him.
That's where he was more than just somebody after oil.
Exactly. Yeah, he was there for her.
That's when their relationship changed.
And he wasn't just there for himself anymore. So that was like a big like. I guess a Christian point for there. So
I think they could have explained more about why she got the land. I feel like they didn't want to touch on the Native American slavery ownership. We learned about it from an interview from Zachary Levi about the movie and learning about what a Creek freedman was. We had to actually look that up. I feel like the movie didn't want to go into, hey, did you know the Native Americans actually had slaves?
They mentioned why she got it. They mentioned like the word.
Because she was a Creek freedman.
But we didn't know what that was. They didn't explain it. They didn't go in depth on it.
Yeah, they just said, because I was a Creek freedman, I got land. And it was like, oh, okay.
What is that?
What's that mean?
So, I mean, I guess if you're a historical nut, you might know what that is.
Never heard it in my life.
I had no idea.
And I would definitely recommend it to anyone who likes period pieces or true stories or movies with happy endings. Favorite moment. For me, there was a mild tearjerker when the dad protects the daughter and she looks at her dad with such honor, like, wow, you really love me. It really showed the father's love for his daughter and just made me think of my own daughters. And they're cool. I like them. You had a favorite scene?
Yeah, my favorite scene, which I won't go too much into it because I don't want to like give anything away, but there's a part where she has to like go to the court and she has to like give like a speech. She doesn't have to, but she does give a speech, and she's during that speech standing up not only for herself but other people who don't have a voice, and that speech just speaks in so much volume. So that was my favorite part of the whole movie. So
my least favorite element, there's a scene where the actor who plays Sarah, so Naya, she looks directly at her spot where she's supposed to go, and then she moves over there to get in front of the camera. And if I was the director of photography and I saw that, I would have been like, hey, cut. Or I don't know how that works, but I would have told the director, cut, let's redo that scene. But she straight up looks at the spot, moves over there, cuts in front of the camera. I mean, she's supposed to move in front of the camera to like make it funny, but it looked like it was her first day on set, and they said, all right, find your spot. Okay, now move over there. All right, I found it. And it was just like, what the heck? I mean, if she had just moved over there like she knew where her spot was, then it would have been fine, but she obviously looked where her spot was. It was just like, well, we're keeping that in the film? Okay, that's cool. You had a spot that you didn't like?
Yeah, it's not just a spot. I think it's more like throughout the whole movie. She has a little brother, and he doesn't have any speaking roles. He does at one point say yay, but I just felt like we didn't really connect with his character so much. And I understand that he's not really like a huge character by any means, but I just felt like maybe he just wasn't needed. I know that she has maybe a little brother and they needed to put somebody there.
That was a true story. Like, oh yeah.
But I know that his character was needed because she had a
We're
little
gonna find out later
brother.
that he has a speech impediment or something.
But maybe like say a few words, help us like know that you are there. But it just was just odd to me that he said not like one word at all.
And a cool little spoiler, does not ruin the movie. This girl got to work with John D. Rockefeller. So if you know anything about that, that's cool. So off to the recommendation.
So again, our recommendations are see it in theater, rent when it's available, or stream it on one of your streaming services when that comes out. But for us personally, we recommend that you go see this movie in theater. Highly recommend this movie because it has a lot of historical facts. And this little girl is definitely going places.
Oh my gosh,
she's
yes.
amazing. So that's what we recommend. Other than that, thank you for joining us here on our awesome couch. So
Thanks, guys.
see you later.
Bye.
Bye.